think we're live now.
Yeah, right. I can see. We are live now?
I think so, yes.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning. My name is Salman, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the session today. We are going to discuss artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. As we navigate the complexity of digital age, the integration of AI in cybersecurity strategies has become not just beneficial but essential. Our discussion today will cover this topic, the pro and cons of using AI in cybersecurity, how black hat hackers are adopting these technologies to basically creating a sufficient malwares, creating attacks, and similarly, basically, on the other part, we have defense mechanism where we are using AI to enhance our defenses. So we are going to start with the introduction. We have the panel of experts in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. So I'm going to start with Arif. Arif, can you introduce yourself to start with?
Assalamualaikum. Arif Sheikh मेरा नाम है और I'm CIO at Progatix. Progatix is a US-based software house which is working around the globe. We are working since last 23 years now, and alhamdulillah, we have a very good structure. Cybersecurity and infrastructure is my specialty. I've been working in cybersecurity since last 15, 16 years now.
Thank you. Ahmed?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ahmed Javaid, and I'm offering digital trust services from past couple of decades in the Middle East, particularly focusing on cybersecurity, digital privacy, and as well as cyber resilience. I'm looking forward to engage the audience for a wonderful discussion.
Thank you very much. Huda, can you introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Salman, for hosting us today. I look forward to learning from the panelists and also, inshallah, providing value to the attendees. So my name is Huda Alanazy. I cover the AI apps portfolio at IBM from a technical and a go-to-market perspective. So I work with AI engineers, with project managers up to VPs across the government, insurance, and banking industries to help them realize the value of generative AI and to basically help them incorporate that in their business processes.
Great, thank you. Waqar?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to share my ideas. I am the CEO of Securitanium, and I have been working in cybersecurity for almost 15 years now. And with the advent and the advancement in AI, I am lucky enough to come up with an application of using AI to detect and mitigate phishing attacks. So looking forward to contributing other ideas as well, how we can use AI for better cybersecurity.
Great. Thank you. So we'll start with Huda. Huda, what is generative AI? And we'll start with this to start kind of base, and then we'll basically start discussing use cases of generative AI in cybersecurity.
So generative AI, in my opinion, is basically interacting with large language models, and then they would generate text or videos or images based on the input that you give them. They're different from traditional AI because traditional AI it requires supervised learning on large amounts of labeled data, and humans need to be incorporated heavily in the process. Whereas with generative AI, one large language model can do many tasks, and it's already pre-trained on billions and billions of parameters of data.
Mm-hmm. And how can we use generative AI to improve detection of cyber attacks?
So cybersecurity professionals and developers can use generative AI across the software development lifecycle to help with many tasks. It's not necessarily just detecting cybersecurity threats, but it starts from generating code, not just code auto-completion, but if you give it the name of the function, it can guess what you're looking for and write that code for you. For example, bug detection, it can help with writing test cases, unit tests for developers. Now, for cybersecurity professionals, it can help them if you have network logs or like data on your network. It can summarize that into an executive summary before diving into the details. So that's also summarization. Another common use case is, for example, instead of checking if their configurations and controls are in place manually by going through their network logs, it can help by generating from your natural language, generating the SQL code to go through the network logs and get, for example, the encryption policies and their statuses for you. So you don't have to do that step from scratch. It can do that for you. Now, yeah.
Waqar, I would like to involve you because you have this amazing product to basically prevent phishing attacks. How we can use generative AI to train, to use purpose of training, simulating phishing attacks, and also use it to prevent them.
Right. So basically, first of all, we came up with this idea was because, as you might know, that a lot of attacks, in case 80 to 90% of attacks are caused due to human error, and most of it is considered to be phishing attacks. And that basically meant that the existing email gateways are missing something, or there are attacks that are smart enough to bypass the existing controls in the email gateways. And we have been reading that hackers have been using AI to come up with more sophisticated and more realistic phishing emails. So when we researched, we found out that most of the email gateways just look at the sender's IP and domain, and you can compare it with the legacy firewalls, which used to just look at the source of the packet and not look into the packet itself. So why this was not done earlier? Perhaps it was not that easy to train AI models as it is easy now. So we have trained the AI model with thousands of phishing emails, and it is able to identify the criteria or the characteristics of a phishing email. And then if you feed it with new emails, it is able to identify whether those characteristics are in the email that it has been given. So that is how we are using AI. We are obviously tuning it as it learns more and more data, as we get more and more emails being reported from the clients. The AI is further improving itself, and hopefully we are moving towards a time when we will not be having so many attacks due to phishing emails. Hopefully.
That's great. Ahmed, you have like 20 years experience in cybersecurity, so you see like traditional model and then now in model where we are using AI. So how you compare like traditional cybersecurity method with the in terms of efficiency with current AI cybersecurity models, which using advanced artificial intelligence, generative AI to detect and prevent, and also the other side is using these to basically creating sophisticated malware to basically attack, and it's very harder to detect. So you start with the traditional one and traditional one use cases, compare them with the current one which we have.
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's of course it's a very hot topic, and considering the technological evolution from past couple of decades, it has transformed the way we live in, the way we interact, and leverage the technologies within our businesses. How we, in particularly, develop the technology stacks, and how particularly we infuse the AI new emerging practices within the cybersecurity. It's a very vast topic, though I'll try to answer as much as possible within the given time frame. Starting from the AI practices, back in if we don't go much far, just 10 years back, we were primarily more focusing on domain specific AI capabilities, such as like the in healthcare sector, the AI adoption was primarily focusing on writing the more focused specific prescriptions per se. However, now as we are growing and AI is basically being embedded within our lives more and more, considering whatever industry sector we belong to, or whatever aspect of the life we are considering, more infusion of AI within our lives pose a raw risk towards us in terms of being exploited
Mm-hmm.
from a human angle or from a technological weaknesses as well. So yes, AI is a transforming technology which basically, if goes in the wrong hands, can bring a very strong negative adverse impact on the human lives. Such as very common examples are, the hackers, which is a very common term of those group of people who use um, a relevant knowledge for wrong intentions. So, or abusing the regulations and going and deviating from a normal practices and laws just to achieve their common or wrong practice, the wrong um, focused motives. So those people, considering the adoption of AI technologies and the freely available tools in their hands, which means the wrong hands or the tools are being used for the wrong intentions, can and are bringing a very negative impact towards the society, starting from like human exploitation perspective. The phishing campaigns, as Waqar mentioned very rightfully, is basically the exploitation of a human psychology. So the
Mm-hmm.
people security, or within the domain of cybersecurity, people act as the most important or the strongest defense within the layer of the cyber defense paradigm. So if we do not educate our people, when it gonna cause our more risk in terms of how strongly, adequately, and responsibly we use the AI tools to deliver the business outcome or intended outcome. So, very particular use cases, which I would like to relate my discussion with what Huda mentioned as well, are focusing on, for example, the cybersecurity analyst within the part of the SOC or the Security Operations Center. They're more focused on adopting such tools which help them for threat detection, for predictive analytics, by assessing the patterns what are going through or what are the attack vectors and TTPs which they are receiving, just to foresee what threats they are coming, and it enhances the capability of responding to such disruptive events or incidents which basically can result in a lot of financial losses. I hope I answered the question in as brief as possible.
Yeah, definitely. So Arif, as you're providing solution to like from small and medium enterprises to enterprises, how small medium enterprises can adopt AI as a technology to enhance their basically defenses, enhance their policies in cybersecurity.
Okay, that's a tough one. The main problem we are facing right now in SMEs, basically, they don't see the cybersecurity as threatening as we do. They don't
Yeah.
understand the importance of the data value. So educating them is our primary responsibility and target. In SMEs, mostly the big organizations like banking sector, the MNCs, whatever, they all have to follow the compliance and everything. So they have mandatory to compliance for the cybersecurity, but we don't have any rule and regulation for the SMEs. So that's a very big challenge. Until unless they face any kind of trouble, any kind of attack, they won't invest in that. In traditional way, if I see, because cybersecurity and AI both are the hottest topic in the world right now. In
Mhm.
cybersecurity, what we were facing, 20 years ago, we used to watch the logs manually. We used to check everything manually, the packets
Yeah.
on taking on the Word and Excel. We used to check over there. Right now, due to AI, everything is getting fast. We are getting the results instantly, reactions instantly. We don't have to see each and everything. The decisions are already there. They just have to be implemented. So we're getting much faster response. Our challenge, again, in Pakistan mainly, is to educate people and to make them understand and realize that AI is something more important than just getting ChatGPT to get answer in for exam questions and everything. It's more towards new technology, and it's a revolution. Like a
Yeah.
great man said, the most threatening thing on the world is AI right now.
Yeah.
One of the important questions that we don't normally ask: who's going to secure AI itself?
That's a
That's a
tough
very
one.
big challenge. That's
Yeah.
a really very very big challenge. We are all depending. We are all going to depend on AI. Not now. After 10 years, 15 years, our total dependency will be on AI. I mean, we got smart watches, we got smartphone, we got smart cars, we have everything on smart. But who's going to take care of them? Because one thing that I have learned in security, the attacker, the bad guy, will always win. They can always penetrate.
Yeah, yeah. There is a saying like you have one chance to defend, and they have
Yeah,
unlimited chance to try. So that's the
exactly,
big.
exactly.
So Huda, like there are a lot of like myth on AI as well. So a lot of AI based solutions are on cloud. So a lot of people have like this privacy and data issue, like their data is going to leak if they basically use AI. So how you address, because you generally meet with customer on daily basis, how you address these questions, these concerns to customers?
Yeah, that's definitely something very important, and we actually addressed this first. There is no generative AI without AI governance.
Hmm.
AI governance principles need to be put in place first before going into, and security as well, before going into generative AI. Of course, we're with cybersecurity professionals here today. We all know about the OSI framework, and we have the usual encryption, access control, design of the network that needs to be put in place first. But there are other things with generative AI and AI governance specifically, that we need to take into account. For example, like 80% of business leaders, I think it was Arif that mentioned that they see risks. SMEs see risks, and
Yeah.
they see ethical concerns. They see trust bias concerns of embarking on generative AI. So we mitigate that by helping them understand the risks. There are amplified risks, like hallucinations, bullying and gaslighting. There
Hmm.
are other many types of risks that are now amplified with generative AI. And basically, they pose reputational risks, they pose operational risks, they pose regulatory risks. You can face regulatory fines, like the EU Act, up to 30 million for
Hmm.
going out of compliance of the regulations. So it's very important to take the risks into account. And this is by using tools. Now, to answer your question, they need to put processes and tools in place to manage them. So to manage the inventory, of the model inventory, the analytics, the dashboarding reports in real time on the metrics, like the bias, the accuracy, and the drift of these models. So that all needs to be monitored, and it's all a life cycle that starts with many teams working together. So there needs to be tools that helps them manage those use cases together, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's great. To extend this discussion, Waqar, how can we ensure that the AI system used in cybersecurity is free from bias? So how you basically, because you have a software, you offer this to customer, how you basically address this?
I think I don't think there is any silver bullet to answer that.
Hmm.
The best approach is to, I think, do regressive and extensive testing, and that's what we did. And we did not go to market unless we tested our product and made sure that the accuracy of detecting and identifying the phishing emails is above 95%. And as far as bias is concerned, there are always going to be issues. I think a few weeks ago, I read somewhere that ChatGPT was giving very strange answers to apparently straightforward questions. So, what we need to keep in mind is even when we are building applications, uh, this is something that we cannot 100% depend on, and we should have controls in place, as especially as cybersecurity professionals, to make sure that there is a way of relaying the responses of what if you're using something like ChatGPT, which can be strange at times. I mean, pardon me for naming them, but that's what I read a few weeks ago. So there needs to be a relay in between to make sure that if we are not directly giving the responses to someone else, or you know there is a partition that makes sure that even if there is any bias, whether it is due to any issues with the service, or whether anything else, uh, there needs to be a barrier between that and what is pushed forward. So I think testing and then relaying and making sure that irrelevant responses are not forwarded to your application, and effectively, not fulfilling what the application was supposed to do, and obviously result in client not getting what he wanted or expected.
Ahmed, I will get back to you. If I'm as a customer want to deploy AI for cybersecurity, what kind of regulation and standards should my organization follow to deploy AI? Because we have existing cybersecurity framework. How AI fit in that?
Yeah, it's a very relevant and important question to be asked today to the stakeholders who are primarily the decision makers in the organization, resulting in technological acquisitions. I mean, just relating my answer with what Waqar said is that the discussing that AI systems are not biased. That is one of the important aspect of the negative aspect of AI evolution, which is being discussed, and it has been addressed through the adoption of right regulations and the right practices in terms of leveraging the AI empowerment within the organization, and starting from addressing these kind of problems when the organizations needs to define the AI governance framework, and that's very much has been basically highlighted and presented in a few of the standards which got published recently. One of the very important one which I would like to refer to is ISO 42001, which defines the AI governance umbrella and clearly gives the guidelines on how to define the or segregating the roles and responsibilities among the different stakeholders. And secondly, which is the framework which has recently been introduced and now been enforced by the European Union is EU AI Act, which addresses the ethical issues while adopting the AI, and addresses the privacy concerns which AI systems were basically was been prone to. Like such as AI enabled chatbots were pulling a lot of personal information of the customers, which they were not without the consent. That's a big challenge. Addressing the biasness is like how we can do that unless we define the clearly governance framework and roles and responsibilities, and the specific policies are being enforced, which have been the needs to be in compliance. All the efforts of software development life cycle needs to be in compliance with those policies in order to avoid such kind of challenges which implicates the negative aspect of it, such as the AI, the ethical part of it.
Mhm.
Now, while selecting the right technology for AI, that is not enough. It's basically the what model you are using, what sort of data you are using to train your model, and the appropriate testing of the outcomes as well is very important. And that's where all the stakeholders have to come on sit around same table to address these issues, particularly from the business side. Legal side is very important, in addition to the risk management. And of course, the CISO plays a very important role and act as a bridge among all of them to address the security and privacy aspects of AI technological adoption. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, yes, that's great. So, Arif, we are basically discussing about implementing the solutions and AI in cybersecurity. So, how you convinces businesses like C-suits who don't understand cybersecurity, who don't understand AI, so how you convince them to adopt it as a technology? So, another tough one for you. Sorry.
Okay. Basically, it's really tough, huh? Because to make someone pay you in easy
Yeah.
terms, he's going to pay me. No? That's not easy. That's a big challenge. To make him understand, I remember my first firewall sale, first or second firewall sale. I I literally had a 1 week session. Every day I used to go there and tell them that you need a firewall and these are the benefits that you are going to get. At the end, after the week, he said, okay, you're so persistent and you're so passionate, I'll let you deploy it. I said, okay, fine. After a month, he started asking me on daily basis, anything different, anything new, something happening. I mean, he paid for the firewall. What's happening? What's new? I don't see anything happening. So that's a big challenge to make people understand, to make realize people that why security is necessary. In a nutshell, we initially need to tell them that why security is necessary. Then, why do they need AI security?
Yeah.
Why do they need AI? Because AI is going to be a real soft target for the hackers, for the bad guys. Like Waqar is working on emails, he's working on ransomware and phishing emails. That's a big challenge for us because the softest targets are the users. You can get the email IDs from the online, and you can send emails in daily basis, and the AI will generate a text that will attract the user and make him comfortable to click.
That's very interesting. And how you address like there are cybersecurity professionals who basically feel threatened with the use of AI. So how you basically address their concern? So I basically met a lot of people who basically say, if we adopt this, we are going to replace. So these are the concerns. So how you address this?
Uh, you asking about the job security?
Yes.
That will happen. Everyone knows that will happen. Initially, we don't understand like that. Like the smart cars are out there, driverless cars, so the drivers will be reduced. And very honestly, the most threatening businesses right now is the tourism business, the airline ticketing business. It's gone throughout online now. We don't need physical offices, so AI will affect job market for those who do not
There
improve
are
themselves.
some airlines which force you to go to their offices. There are still they exist.
There should be. I have a case in UK. I think there's an airline which only has one physical office for the legality issues. Otherwise, they are totally online.
That's great.
Even in
Uh,
Pakistan, we are always buying tickets on our mobile cell now. We don't have to
yes.
go anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, Salman, with your permission, and I would like to add on a very, because this is a very important aspect of what cybersecurity leaders are facing today. Because we already, particularly, I'm talking about the Middle Eastern region, where we are facing a serious skill set deficit within this space of cybersecurity. Um, yes, it is true that AI gonna affect that's particularly my opinion, that it is true that AI gonna affect the job market immensely, or they very seriously. But that does not mean, or it should not be taken in a way that many people are gonna lose their jobs unless they are not equipped and empowered with the right knowledge and updated or upgraded practices. it will transform the roles or the way of, it has been it started happening that the way we are analyzing or detecting the cyber threats and incidents and responding to such incidents, the practices have been already started to be changed or transformed with the adoption of the AI tools. Before, we used to spend 2 to 3 days in doing the initial incident triage, but now it's happening within few minutes with the help of AI tools. So that does not mean the cybersecurity analysts gonna lose their jobs. The only thing what is needed is to empower the cybersecurity teams with the right knowledge and upgraded technologies, and the roles and the practice is going to be transformed with with the best possible way of leveraging the AI technologies in the positive manner. Not to be forgotten that the same tools are in the hands of the bad guys as well.
Yes.
So what is the competitive edge what we have is that the mindset. The negative guys, they always prefer or are they're bound to use the free available tools. However, the good guys, which are of course part of the jobs or any organizations, they are given a full commercial, the facility or budgets to acquire new tools and technologies. So the capabilities of the commercial tools are cannot be compensated with the free tools. The only thing is that the right time or right way of delivering the trainings and awareness. And as Arif Saab rightly said, the making the stakeholders aware is I think the game changer about, and educating them by highlighting the possible potential risks which can exploit and disrupt their businesses, and showing them the value for investment or the ROI, return on investment, that if a negative incident or such cyber incident happens, what negative adverse impacts can bring the financial and operational losses to the organization. So by defending the organization or business operations from the such incidents is how the cybersecurity teams can help. So that's the main basic equation of selling them and educating the stakeholders to keep investing in
Yeah.
developing the skill set and workforce development.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to extend same discussion to you, so because you also basically
Okay,
have similar.
let me just
Yep.
one point. The main problem is our understanding of cybersecurity and AI.
Mhm.
They won't. They will definitely. There will be less jobs in that, but the jobs are growing in cybersecurity and AI. Those people who are not going to upgrade themselves will lose their job. That's a fact. That's the whole thing. The cybersecurity market, the security threats are growing day by day. It's going to in billions and billions now. The opening are in thousands. They are organizations looking for cybersecurity experts, AI experts, because everyone is going to move there. Those who do not going to upgrade themselves are going to lose everything.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. So back to you, Huda. How you address these concerns?
I definitely agree with Ahmed and Arif. So generative AI will not replace us. Those who use generative AI will. So it's very important, like Arif mentioned, it's to upskill ourselves and to use generative AI into our day-to-day tasks. For example, it can help us writing emails, the repetitive tasks that usually take 10 minutes. It could do that in 1 minute. That could save time for us to focus on the high-value tasks. And there are many studies that have been done on the time percentage, and that can be saved. Now, like Waqar mentioned, bias is something that needs to be taken into account and focused on. So there are different forms of. He mentioned phishing and bias related to that. Now, it's important. With generative AI, LLMs are only as good as the data that they have been trained on. Basically, they predict the next word based statistically on what could be like on the past that it's been trained on. It can't do mathematics. It can only like use language to make something that sounds correct, which could be not correct. Then that's where hallucination comes in. So, so it's very important, like with the data itself, and for our specific use cases, we can use retrieval augmented generation, where we can have it generate something from a document, from our document that we give it, so that it can generate more accurate responses. We can also do model fine tuning, where we train it on labeled data for long-term use cases. So there are many approaches and things that we can do to make it more curated and to eliminate the bias, basically. And so that's from a data perspective. Now, there's also a prompt engineering discussion and a prompt engineering thing, like techniques that we can use. Like for phishing, for example, we can use prompt engineering to generate, using the same prompt, and each time you use the same prompt, it generates a different email. And that's by playing around with the temperature, for example. And the temperature is a random number generator. So by increasing the temperature, it increases the creativity of the large language model, and it can generate a different phishing email each time, so that employees basically, it's harder for them to detect that this is a phishing email and to test them based on that.
Yes, yeah, that's very important. So, Waqar, basically, you have this modern software to detect phishing attacks. How you basically convince customers to move from traditional cybersecurity tools to use AI-driven tool? And do they have like security concerns about using AI in their environment?
Right. So basically, first of all, that is a very valid question, and in fact, I have actually heard these questions. So we have designed our application in a way that we do not store or show the email that is reported to us or our system detects. We do not store it anywhere. We only, our model only analyzes it, and whatever it has detected within that email that it thinks is or are the characteristics of the phishing email, and based on those characteristics, if it thinks it's a phishing email, so we offer them to audit our application to make sure that we do not store any email anywhere. And also, when we take the email from the inbox of an employee and send it over to our model, we make sure that transmission is encrypted as well, and we offer the clients to get it audited. We also share our audit reports with them. So that is one way of addressing their privacy concerns. Coming to the more difficult question, that how do we convince clients to try our product or look at the benefits of it. So we only have the data that our system has detected so many phishing emails that bypass the existing email gateways in our other clients where we have deployed our solution. And we have kept this data. We keep a track of this data, and we show the clients that for example, let's say if you're in the financial industry, any phishing email that one of your client clicks on that results in, let's say, a ransomware attack or whatever. In the financial industry, let's say the average cost of a ransomware attack, let's say in whatever country we are or the client is working, let's say it's $500,000 or $400,000. So, and then we show that, let's say, here are the numbers of the emails that our system detected and removed from the inbox of the employees of the clients that we have deployed our product. So we make them understand the potential value addition or these, the financial loss that they will be saved from, the reputational loss that they will be saved from. Because like you said earlier, they only need one way, right? So there is just one weak link or one employee that clicks on an email. And the data is there to back it up that the cybersecurity incident breach report by IBM or by even World Economic Forum. I read a report on the 2023 cyber breaches in UK, and 80% of all cyber attacks in UK resulted from phishing emails. So this is a concern, and there is so much data to back what we are working on. That really helps us, but it's not about. See, my experience in cybersecurity and why we developed this product is not more about trying to sell a new product. My concern was that there is something missing that is causing 80% of cyber attacks. And when we have a technology now like AI, why not come up with a solution that can help us, do this? And that is also in connection to the earlier discussion that we were having. That anyone who is worried about AI replacing them, I think that actually it's the opposite. There is
Yes.
so much room for opportunity. There is so much opportunity now. For example, if a SOC analyst is thinking that AI might replace the jobs, I don't think so. I mean, if you're a SOC analyst, let's say someone is using a legitimate email or a legitimate IP and then leveraging it to do some attacks, and let's say there are no alerts of a foreign IP, but with AI you can do behavior analysis. That let's say this IP or this email used to act in a certain way, but now it's acting differently. So I think there is so much room for AI, and like Huda was mentioning, prompt engineering. There's actually there are people. I've seen ads of prompt engineers in companies. So,
Yes.
like everyone else said before me, it's the people who are going to use AI who are going to replace those who don't. So that's my 2 cents on this.
Yeah, I believe the adoption is very important. So if you are not going to adopt latest technology, you will be far behind. Then, in eventually, you're going to replace. So, Arif, so I'm throwing tough questions to you, and another one, which is for all the panelists: how cyber criminals are using AI for their enhancement, automation, scaling their attacks. So, how they are using these tools to basically critic like sophisticated, harder to attack malwares, and what countermeasures we can take to defend against such enhancements.
Okay, I'm going to answer it in two parts, and it is going
You
to
can
be a
do
very different angle.
it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. First of all, they are human being like us, right?
Yeah.
The bad people are just like us. But the only thing they have that we don't have is their passion. I mean, they're crazy. They don't see day and night, and they are working. On the other hand, we are the person who are getting paid. We are working hours. Okay? Both of us are using the same technology, the same university, and everything is the same. But the only thing that differentiates between them and us is our passion. They are more crazy and they're more passionate about getting in. Like you said, they have thousands of ways to get in. We only have one way to defend,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that's more important than for me. Because considering everything that's available for them and us, it's equal.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very good point, and this is why we should use AI. So we should
Yes.
use AI to basically prevent such attacks because, as you mentioned, you are paid, you have working hours, you
Yes.
get detailed. So that's a very good point. Ahmed,
I'm a cybersecurity person. My second part, sorry. The second cybersecurity person is going to work for 5 hours, 9 to 5, 7, 8 hours, and then he'll go home, right? Okay. On a lighter note, from the Waqas, I just remember something. I was giving a training session in an organization for the IT department, technical training on cybersecurity. And I told him multiple times, many times, that if you get any kind of message, any email or WhatsApp, any link that says click it or it's from your boss and he's going to give you a bonus and everything, just delete that mail. It's very simple. Just delete that mail. And a guy over there, an IT person who was having that training, I still remember it was December, and at the end of the December there was a campaign going on WhatsApp. Everyone was sharing a link of Nike shoes, free Nike shoes. That was 3-4 years ago, and that guy who was attending my training clicked that link and lost his WhatsApp. So that's the difference between AI and a human mind.
Yeah, it can manipulate.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that becomes very more important and interesting. In fact, when when we correlate the human-related examples with the AI, and during the trainings which I deliver in order to educate the people towards how they can defend themselves from the phishing attacks, I usually use this term nothing comes free. If anyone's trying to offer you free, please run away
Yes.
from there, and and on top of it, the lottery is free or something is free, so please do not even bother to open the mails rather than clicking and giving your personal information away. And second rule which I usually try to educate people is before it used to be say there is a good saying of saying what in terms of team development is sharing is caring, but in the world of cybersecurity, please keep in mind sharing is caring. So share the information responsibly, and of course, in follow the zero trust model in your lives as well, so that we can adopt a better and responsible practices of information sharing and securing our personal information and so forth. But coming back to that, the initial question of yours, Salman, that meant what sort of practices hackers are using, leveraging the AI technologies to hack the personal information or the information assets of the organizations. The very first thing is which they usually refer, or the techniques which they use, is during the reconnaissance process. Any hacker which wants to hack any organization or any system or any personal, the detail to steal a personal in details of some individual, he has to perform some steps to which we call it as a recon steps or reconnaissance in order to get or fetch the intel related to that organization, to find out the weaknesses through their covert channels to deliver their payloads. That's a typical example. So before, hackers used to spend weeks or months in order to gather all that information to draw a simple and practical picture to come up with an attack vector or their attack strategy. Now, what's happening with the Gen AI, thanks to ChatGPT and the Gemini, they are giving all that information within few seconds. So that's becomes more, their recon activities became more efficient, and within few minutes they are in a position to understand the full picture about their victim or most of that. Second thing is, which a very strong use case which we need to work on together as a team, is that with the AI capabilities they can impersonate the victims. With the AI help of AI tools, they can, of course, the authentication mechanisms, not only the passwords, even your biometric, impressions, even your voice. With the NLP generators, now these tools are freely available. That you just need to pass a recorded voice of mine for 30 to 60 seconds, and now AI model will learn the patterns of my voice, and then they can impersonate me, use, and if they pass the script to that tool, the script can be spoken with my voice, with my tone of voice. So that's how they are leveraging the AI capabilities and coming up with a more sophisticated, targeted, and devious attacks. The last thing, but not least, because there are gazillions of other use cases, but
Yeah,
one
definitely.
more is
I think
that
the use case you mentioned, recon, is I think most mostly use, and it's basically helped them a lot to basically prepare for the attack. Yes, please.
Yeah. So the only last thing I am aware of the time factor, but just last thing I would like to share is the use case, which is in terms of like launching the brute force attacks or the DDoS attacks, where the AI tools are basically are enabling the attackers to find out the more the channels with the more traffics, where they can basically uh, generate more exponentially high number of the traffic components to bring the services down, which makes it more dangerous for the organization to defend. So coming back to that thing, there is a newly established area of where cybersecurity and AI is being infused, which is now these days may referred to as responsible AI. There's an
Mhm.
institute which is now developing the regulations as well. The European Union AI Act addresses the responsible AI issues, as well as the um, ISO 42001 also. Now, the only thing is that, which I would like to emphasize on, that while developing the AI enabled or AI empowered solutions, there is a important component to be embedded, which is we call it as a security by design. So
Yes.
while during throughout the complete software development life cycle, the security controls needs to be ensured. As I previously said, like the that has should be embedded within the source code, and as well as on the selection of the right model and the selection of the test data to train the model as well. And the final outcome of the AI tools needs to be assessed from a security perspective, as well as, of course, from the organization requirement perspective, that if the personal data has been collected, there should be a consent of the individual, or the DSR needs to be secured as well, to address the compliance related issues. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, yes, it's pretty much. So, Huda, someone asked question: is NCA has framework for AI in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, there's an AI ethics by Sedaya that
Mm-hmm.
that can be accessed.
Okay, okay. And you
And
would you?
sorry to interrupt, but there is additional guidelines has been published by the NCA as well, the National Cybersecurity Agency of Saudi, KSA. Similar guidelines have been issued by NCSA of Qatar as well. So the
Mhm.
cybersecurity regulators are now getting active and started playing their role, which is very important to regulate this part of the responsible AI adoption. So those guidelines, in along with the international, the standards and guidelines, needs to be studied thoroughly before deciding in the organization to go for the decision for AI based technology adoption.
Yes, exactly. There's also guidelines by SAMA as well, the
Mhm.
SAMA framework for financial institutions. But just on Ahmed's point on and Arif's point on like how we differ from basically the criminals or the bad guys, we also
Mhm.
have more resources, like you mentioned. So it's costly to use generative AI. It can be like very costly. Right now, what's been released with GPT 4.0, it's a small targeted model that can be used, and it's very cheap. So 15 cents for 1 million input tokens and 60 cents for 1 million output. So and now there's also Llama 3.1 with 405 billion parameters that's been made open source, which is a huge step. So the bad guys can use that as well, but they still need lots of resources. They need
Mhm.
lots of resources in training those models, resources in hosting these models in terms of hardware. So it's very unlikely that they get to use them as well as organizations get to use them because of the resources and effort that needs to be put in to curate the data as well, cleaning and preparation.
Yeah, so that's so we summarize in our discussion. There are like some of the lacking point, which is like awareness. Awareness is the key because people are not aware about use cases of AI. Like Arif mentioned, as a human, you can get like distracted, but as a AI, it can basically available around the clock, self-learning to basically answer the attack. And then there is another factor, which is adoption of a technology. So as a human out there in market, they are afraid to adopt new technologies, anything new. So these are the basically points which we gather in our discussion. So last 30 seconds, each of you on this, like why they should adopt AI. And we already basically talked about benefits, about pro and cons. So about awareness, about adoption of as a technology. Just last 30 seconds because we are going to run out of time then. Starting with Arif or Ahmad.
Okay. It's just a one-liner. It's not an option.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
you nailed it. Yeah.
We don't have no this
So
leverage
there's
not
nothing
to
left
adopt
to
it.
say. It's unavoidable, definitely. But just two things from my side is there is no AI without IA. IA is information architecture. If you do
Definitely.
not define proper data governance models within your organization, AI adoption is of no value. Second thing is embedding the cybersecurity, the security by design processes within your technology development and acquisition processes. It's crucial today to act responsibly.
Perfect. Waqar, your last comment.
So I'll just say that I think AI it has to be considered just like the computers were invented, and
Mhm.
then anyone not utilizing it will fade away. Uh, just like the internet was invented, and it is a technology that can be used both by the criminals and both by people to do positive things. And anything that can be used by criminals, you have to understand that your room for error is getting less, and
Mhm.
therefore you need to make sure that you are adapting accordingly. If they are using AI, you should be using AI as well. That's my
Yeah,
two cents.
definitely. And I know Arif make it very complicated for everyone to respond with his one-liner. So Huda, your last comments.
It's not plus AI anymore. It's AI plus.
Definitely, yes. So thank you very much for all of you for your expert opinion. I hope this session will be very informative for our viewer, and we will basically come up with the similar exciting topic next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.